Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we are going to quickly review the steps you need to take in order to get your data ready for analysis, including loading and cleaning that data. Once all of this is done, our next video will show you how to take your data analysis and the steps you have performed and turn them into graphs that are much easier for an audience to read and understand. Let's get started. The first thing you will need to do is load your libraries. In this video, we will be using these three libraries here, so I'm going to quickly load them. After that, I am also going to need to load the stopwords data into my global environment. Now that we have our libraries loaded and our stopwords ready, we can start by downloading our text. For this video, we are again going to be working with Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. If you need a refresher on how to load novels into our code from Project Gutenberg, check the previous chapter for a step-by-step instruction of how to do this. For now, let's start by making a variable called Frank for short and using our Gutenberg download function to load that novel. Now that our Frankenstein novel is loaded, we are going to quickly chop off the beginning and ends of our text and unnest it into word tokens. Let's check our Frankenstein variable quickly to make sure this is correct. You can see that our words have been unnested and the beginning and ends of our novel have been chopped off so that the novel starts right where we want it to. Once everything looks the way you want it to, we can now clean this data by removing stopwords. Again, if you want a detailed description of how to do this, check back in the last chapter's videos. Because the stopwords list is fairly extensive and we do not want to remove every single word in that stopwords list, we are going to trim the stopwords list to one lexicon only instead of the multiple lexicons that it contains. For this video, we are only going to be removing the smart lexicon words from our novel. To do this, we are going to create a new variable that houses only the smart stopwords. We are going to title it smart. We are going to take our stopwords data, our pipe operator, and then our filter function, and filter by lexicon. This line of code will ensure that we are only looking at words that are in the smart lexicon. Now we have a new variable with only smart words instead of all of the stopwords. One problem with this lexicon is that it still contains the words he and she. For the purposes of this video, we are going to want to keep he and she because we might want to examine how gender is operating in this novel. So we are going to make sure that our final lexicon does not contain those words, and that those words will remain in our novel once we are done cleaning it. We are going to create a new variable, and we are going to title it new underscore stop for new stopwords. And then we are going to assign it the smart variable that we just created. And using our pipe operator, we're going to use the filter function again. This time, we're going to use something new, however. We are going to filter by word, and then we're going to add an exclamation mark. That means not, and then the equal sign. So we are saying we are filtering for the word that is not equal to he. Adding a comma, we are also going to filter for the word that is not equal to she. What this will do is ensure that he and she are removed from this lexicon so that they are not removed from our novel. Let's check to make sure this actually happened. Since this list is alphabetical, we can scroll down to the H's and look here. We have having and then we have he's with an apostrophe, but no he, which is good. And then, continuing to scroll down, we see that she is also missing from this list. That means that when we anti-join this list from our novel, he and she will remain in our novel, which is exactly what we want. Now, let's quickly remove this stop words list from our novel so that we can get started doing our actual analysis and creation of graphs. Let's create a variable that is Frankenstein but clean. And then we're going to take from our Frankenstein novel, using our anti-join function, we are going to anti-join our new stop words. When we run this line of code, we will now have a novel from Frankenstein that has gotten rid of the stop words, but only from the smart lexicon, and it did not get rid of words like he and she. Now we can begin some of our analysis. Let's count the occurrences of words in our cleaned data set. Let's create a variable where we count the words, assign it to something where we will take our Frankenstein clean data, and we're going to use the count function from the previous video to count by word. Now we have a count of all of the words in the novel, and you can see that he and she are at the top of our list. This is something that can be used later on in your analysis if you so desire. In the next video, we will show you how to take this counted data and change it into a graph that is much simpler to read than this giant chart of words.